Did you know Trump and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer discussed ending the Iran conflict?
Today, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and President Trump held a phone call focused on efforts to end the Iran conflict and restore freedom of navigation, signaling that U.S. allies are preparing to support any emerging peace agreement. Reuters reported that Starmer expressed support for progress toward a resolution and said the United Kingdom is ready to assist in implementing any emerging peace agreement. Both leaders also agreed on the importance of restoring freedom of navigation, a key issue because the conflict has disrupted maritime routes and increased economic pressure worldwide. This call matters because peace agreements do not enforce themselves. Even if the U.S. and Iran reach a preliminary agreement, allies may be needed to monitor implementation, support maritime security, help verify compliance, and stabilize markets. In other words, Trump may be the central negotiator, but implementation will likely require a coalition. The UK has long been a key U.S. security partner, especially on maritime operations, sanctions enforcement, intelligence sharing, and Middle East diplomacy. Starmer's willingness to assist gives Trump a stronger international platform if the deal moves forward. But there is also risk for the UK. If London backs the Trump framework and the agreement collapses, Starmer could face criticism for aligning too closely with a volatile process. If the agreement succeeds, the UK can claim a role in restoring stability. The phrase, freedom of navigation, is central here. It refers to the ability of ships to move through international waters without coercion, blockade, or attack. In the context of the Iran conflict, it means reopening safe passage through critical shipping routes, especially around the Strait of Hormuz. When navigation is disrupted, costs rise. Ships may reroute, insurers may increase premiums, and oil markets may price in danger. That is why the Trump-Starmer call is not only about diplomacy. It is also about global economic stabilization. The biggest message from today's call is that allies are preparing for the possibility that a deal may actually happen. But implementation will be difficult. There must be agreement on what counts as compliance. Does Iran have to stop all drone activity near shipping lanes? Does the U.S. have to lift parts of the blockade immediately? Who verifies that ships can move freely? What happens if a proxy group attacks a vessel after the agreement? These details can make or break a deal. Trump's political advantage is that he can present allied support as validation of his approach. If the UK is prepared to help implement the deal, Trump can argue that his pressure campaign produced results and that allies are lining up behind him. Critics may argue that the US created conditions that required emergency diplomacy in the first place. That argument will continue, especially if the conflict remains unstable or if energy prices stay elevated. What should viewers watch next? 1. Whether other allies follow the UK and publicly support the deal. 2. Whether a maritime enforcement coalition is announced. 3. Whether Starmer faces domestic pushback in Parliament. 4. Whether Trump uses the call to claim broad international backing. Today's Trump-Starmer call tells us something important. The peace process is moving from negotiation to potential implementation planning. That does not mean success is guaranteed, but it means allied governments are now preparing for what comes next. If the deal is signed, the next phase will not be about speeches. It will be about enforcement, trust, and whether the world's most sensitive shipping lane can reopen without another military flare-up.